So I'm at the beer section at the local grocery store, the Chico's, and my guy who works there, who knows beer very well, is in the middle of pitching this one beer that he describes as a darker saison. And after he's done with his pitch, I say, if you wanted to inject some semi racy humor, you would rename that beer Paris Under Siege. Can I get a holla for scoring? Mucho dinero laughs long time in real time. Holla. Thank you very much. So tonight I'm going to read to you an example of what they call flash fiction, which is basically an incredibly short story that won't bore you to death. And I'm not going to bludgeon your ears with like jilted southern dialect that makes you want to kill yourself, that never comes across as conversational or hilarious. And I'm not saying that I know that southerners can be ultra charming talkers like Bubba who aren't serial rapists. But this was a piece that I had created for a writing opportunity with a company that's based in Austin, and they are looking for a writer that can create audio flash short stories for parents, and do it all that. And so I wrote this story, and of course afterwards my daughter gave me this chilling feeling that I'd already ruined the opportunity, which is that, Daddy, that short story better not be sexual and it better not be political. So my daughter already understands my brand, and she's only 9. So, but I'm so proud of this piece, and it's got a Thanksgiving theme, and Thanksgiving is right around the corner. So I'm going to read it, and it's called Tofu, the Terrible Slayer. Matilda, Singing Rose Cornbluth, was in no singing mood today. Every day, she'd wake up singing Good Day, Sunshine by the Beatles, even if she got up at the crack of dawn again, or decided to work in Norway away from her mom and dad throughout an entire darkened 5-month winter as a 9-year-old ski model for North Face, knowing in a post-corona universe she was used to doing remote learning away from school anyway. But this drab Thanksgiving morning was different because she had to act thankful for eating tofurkey roast again, despite the spirit of Tofu the Terrible terrorizing her dreams, since she described soy dogs in her school lunch cafeteria blog as rubber dog link nosh toys. But how could Matilda, Singing Rose Cornbluth, act grateful for eating a tofurkey roast, since her 4th-grade teacher, Mrs. Wright, made it clear how the Native American Indians weren't responsible for teaching the Pilgrims how to turn soy milk into white blocks of semi-firm bricks of soy with higher levels of estrogen to feminize John Smith's sturdy stock of sailors with. Also, Thanksgiving this year, post-corona, wasn't feeling particularly festive, knowing Matilda was suffering from PTSD from wearing all of those corona masks to death. Matilda was now having nightmares of being terrorized by the masked man, Tofu the Terrible, who ruined every favorite meal she dreamed of. For example, if Matilda had just won the gold medal in the Hardcore X Games for equestrian riders within the under 10 years age bracket having to complete jumps through rings of fire with an occasional baby dragon on her tail. She normally celebrate with her best friend Shannon in her dream over their favorite treat, jelly beans, for a sleepover party soon after. But now, all that appeared in her dream were pasty, slimy soybeans in the place of jelly beans because Tofu the Terrible was punishing her for calling soy dogs on her cafeteria food blog not good enough to pass for rubber dog toys. And Matilda hated pet dogs because they ate dog food, which possessed minced horse meat inside. Matilda had always been a hardcore vegetarian loyalist, yet she greatly offended the spirit of Tofu the Terrible, a ferocious Chinese vegetarian warrior from the Ming Dynasty, who even got Genghis Khan into Mapo tofu over jasmine rice, a fiery dish loaded with super scary Szechuan spice. The smell from the grounded up Szechuan peppercorns would make most grown men cry, making their lips tremble in fear at the prospect of having to try one more bite, knowing Genghis Khan will be hoarding all the sake, rice wine for any temporary relief for themselves soon afterwards. Matilda was convinced she never enjoyed the food she loved in real life again, such as her dad's fried Icelandic cod in a barbecue aioli without tasting anything but mushy dog drool instead. Now, it was time for everyone at the table to give thanks for Thanksgiving, which Matilda had been dreading from the start because she was consumed with nightmarish visions of Tofu the Terrible, ruining all her favorite foods in her dreams and in real life, such as her dad's star side dish creation, caramelized cauliflower potato gratin, combining cabbage Gruyere and raclette cheese from the Swiss Alps, which injected the dish with an extra scrumptious, creamy, fresh finish. Matilda's dad, a stay-at-home comedian, author, podcast host, and self-taught semi-gourmand chef, could tell his daughter was dreading her turn to participate and says, "Matilda, you look like you've seen a ghost. Is Tofu the Terrible ruining the taste of your jelly beans again?" Matilda perks up, shaken out of her petrified, frozen comatose, and says, "How did you know about Tofu the Terrible, Daddy?" Matilda's dad says, "I helped you launch your own lunch cafeteria blog on WordPress. Remember? Your last piece, Tofu Brownie Blues, was about how Tofu the Terrible threatened to shred everyone's masks at school unless the brownie girls started selling his special batch of tofu brownies at the next school book fair instead." Matilda says, "Do we have to eat the tofu? Daddy, do we have to eat the tofurkey roast this year?" Dad says, "No. Try this veggie barbecue pita instead." Matilda takes a reluctant bite, but is moved by her dad's gesture of goodwill. She says, "Yummy, Daddy." Her dad says, "I fried up cubes of semi-firm soy inside that bad boy. The sauteed onions and peppers keep the memories of mushy dog toy food at bay." Tofu the Terrible was dead in Matilda's head, and she started singing again while giving thanks and praises at Thanksgiving, singing, "Soy dogs still suck, Tofu the Terrible too, but you're no longer so bad since my daddy came to my rescue." This is the Do It All Dad Year podcast, dad-friendly entertainment for you and me. What Gen X dads understand. Long time! Controlling our kids' economy can make our kids great again. My three fuss-free kids, 98% of the time, are living proof of it. And I'll talk to you guys soon.